Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ray Dolan from Mullingar in Mullingar, and we have Patsy Fagan with us in the back of the bus. But the big thing that we're celebrating on the 3rd of August is a celebration of Jim Moore's life and what a legend he was. But as well as that, they're going to support Brain Tumour Ireland, and it's going to be in Clarksbar on the 3rd of August. So if you've nothing else to do, or if you'd like to support it, you can get tickets from Carol, and they'll give you an email, and there'll be a few loads of information as we go along. Today is the first day, and I got an opportunity to speak to Patsy after his very busy schedule, but we're on the streets of Mullingar and we're in the back of the bus. Patsy, how's it going?
Very well, thank you, Ray. Delighted to be here with you.
Great to have you on board, yes.
Thank you.
Now tell us, you were a good friend of Jim's.
I was a good friend of Jim. We go back to college days. We would have shared a flat in Rathmines around 1975. Right. 1976. We had great fun and great times.
And would you have known Jim growing up then before that? Or?
No, Jim was friendly with my brother Jim Fagan.
Right.
He went to school with Jim. I met him through Jim, and both of us were looking for a flat together, and we ended up, 6 of us, in a flat in Rathmines. There's a guy called Rayfield Smith, who's a brother of Des Smith, the golfer. And
right.
There was a few from up Drogheda direction. There was myself and Jim and 2 guys from Mohill in Leitrim.
Now, what were you doing in college? You were going to college, so you got the accommodation sorted.
The accommodation was separate.
Right.
Jim was in Bolton Street doing quantity survey, and I was in the College of Marketing doing business studies.
Wow.
So that's how we met up, you know.
Brilliant. So how many years did you spend up there gallivanting around Dublin?
We probably spent 2.5 years, 3 years. But I remember one story, and it's a Joe Dolan story,
Go
actually.
on.
We dressed up one night, and we were going to go to Joe Dolan.
Right.
And we dressed up anyway, and we got into this queue, and there was a few dubs in front of us. And we got up towards the door. The bouncers were there, and the dubs were a bit boisterous.
Okay, yeah.
So the bouncers kind of switched off them, you know. So they said to them, lads, have you got a membership card?
Right.
And there's no such thing as membership cards back there, as a way of kind of diverting them. And there was one of them says, "Jeez, the only membership card that you need here is a bleeding redneck." So Jim and I started to laugh, and we weren't let in either.
Oh,
But that was way back, you know.
And tell us, the crack in Dublin and going to college at that time must have been a whole different world altogether.
It was innocent times, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to a certain extent. Sure, I mean, it's all changed. Sure, the only beers that you could get back then was either Guinness, Smithwick's, or Harp. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was no such thing. And
Rathmines was a very important part because everyone from the country stayed in Rathmines.
everyone from the country stayed in.
Yeah.
That was good fun, you know. You kind of went out on a Friday night, you bought a 6-pack, and you went back to someone's flat, and that's where the party was.
Go on.
That's how simple it was.
So, did you play football with Jim then, or were you in that?
I played with Shamrocks. Jim
Right.
would have played for the Downs. Now, Jim's brother Ned played for Shamrocks, and I would have played against Jim under 21.
Right.
That was the first time I came across Jim in football, but I subsequently came across him in senior football. Now,
right.
Jim wasn't the cleanest player that you'd ever come across, you know, and it often ended up with a few fists thrown, but we were always good friends afterwards.
It was a different type of football as well at that time.
It was a different type of football. Yeah,
and a lot of hardy bucks as well, because Jim would be from the country, a bit of farming gone into them boys as well, you know.
Yeah, there was a bit of the townies v the country lads, you know what I mean? But, and some years later, in 1986, Shamrocks got to a county final
Right.
for the first time in 20 years, and we played the Downs, and we beat them. So that
Right.
was a good fun day for us anyway.
That cancelled it out. Now,
Yeah.
as well as that, Jim was very much involved in soccer. Now, that was Gaelic football you
That
were
was
playing.
Gaelic
that's right.
football, yeah. Jim would have played soccer during the winter months.
Right.
And play Gaelic during the summer. Now, I would have played rugby during the winter months and Gaelic during the summer. It was simpler back then because the Gaelic stopped at kind of end of September,
Right.
and the rugby started, and the rugby finished around April, and the Gaelic started. So you could play 2 seasons.
Right, right. And rugby in Mullingar is just absolutely booming at the moment.
Yeah, it's going very well.
Can't believe it.
Yeah,
It's flying.
Yeah, it really is.
So Jim then, he lived in Ireland for a good while. Then he went to England for a little while.
Jim worked, when he left college, he worked for Bennett's,
Right.
Milton Pass. And that was in around 1981, 82. And he went to London then. I think it was around 82, 83. And he got a job with Taylor Woodrow, which would be one of the big construction companies in London.
Right.
And then Jim left that and set up Jim's own company himself and a guy called Scanlon, and it was called Scanmore.
Right.
And they got a very successful company going, and Jim would have done a lot of big jobs. Jim would have befriended the likes of Boris Johnson when he was Lord Mayor of London.
But Jim wasn't sort of shy anyway.
Jim, I tell you, if talking was an Olympic sport, Jim would have several medals. It's as simple as that. He was unbelievably not shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had that aura about him that he didn't really care.
He didn't care. Yeah.
And but he still was well able to hold his own, like chatting to anyone. You know?
No matter who he met, he met. I remember he telling me the different people he met. Boris being one of them, when because Jim was doing a lot of work for the GLC, the Greater London Council, and Boris was the Lord Mayor, so they would have crossed paths.
Right.
And he says Boris, when he met him, called him Murphy.
Right.
But
Simple, yeah.
as simple as that. But Jim would have, he met John Major, he met Heseltine, Lord Heseltine. Like, Jim would have if he saw somebody, like, he'd have no problem going up talking to them.
Going up and talking to them.
Yeah.
As well as that, he was charismatic in his own way. I mean, he influenced a lot of people, I'd say, in Mullingar.
He did. And when Jim came home and he walked into a pub, should be 10 people up talking to Jim. He had that charismatic approach, and everyone knew Jim, you know. And there's some great stories. I remember Jim telling me a story when Scanmore was going, and there was a Fianna Fáil dinner in London.
Right.
And Jim took a table of 10, probably paying £250 a seat, you know.
Yeah.
So Jim brought all these QSs from different companies and from the Greater London Council, where Jim would be courting business from.
Right.
So Jim had them all sitting at the table. Bertie was the Taoiseach at the time. That was just 30 odd years ago. And Bertie got up, and the message was, we're building loads of roads, and we want you to come over and price it, which was the proper message, you say. So Bertie gave the talk, and after the dinner, Bertie went round table to table, meeting and greeting.
Greeting, yeah.
And didn't Jim see him 2 tables up? And he goes straight up to him. He told the guys that he was going to the loo. And went to and took Bertie's hand. Jim Moore here, Bertie. I met you in Portugal 2 years ago. Now, Bertie was Minister for Finance at the time.
Wow.
It was lash and rain. They're all at a soccer match. Ireland v Portugal, back to where they were staying. About 400 Irish people staying in this place, and there's a big sing-song.
Right.
So Jim says, "Oh, Jim, I remember it well. Sure, we all got drowned, you know what I mean?"
Oh.
And he said, Jim said to Bertie, "I'll see you down at that table. I'm just going to the toilet."
Right.
So Bertie eventually gets down to the table, and he comes out, Jim, and shakes hand with Jim. "Oh, Bertie, this is so-and-so, 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 so-and-so." And these guys says, "Jim knows the Irish Prime Minister." Jim was that type of character, you know what I mean? You know, like he saw this little opportunity.
And as well as that, he was able to sow the seed in someone else to say, let's play the game and have the crack, you know.
Yeah, he was brilliant that way, you know.
But God bless him, as I say, he left a great legacy, and as I say, we're going to celebrate it on the 3rd of August.
He left a great wife. Carol, and four fine sons. He lost a daughter. She was only a few months old, and she passed away. Aoife, I remember going over for the funeral, and Jim brought her home here and buried her in Ballyglass. God. That was a big loss, and that went very hard on Jim and Carol.
Yeah,
I remember it well.
We haven't met the sons yet, so hopefully we're going to have a good chat with them.
They're 4 fine lads now. 4 fine lads.
Are they in the business as well, are they?
I think Jonathan is the oldest. I think Jonathan is a quantity surveyor. One of them he did economics. I'm not sure what he's doing. Possibly doing accountancy. The younger lads, I'm not sure what exactly they're doing, you know.
We'll get an opportunity to
Yeah.
chat to them.
Yeah.
Look, folks, thanks for looking in. As I said, we're with Patsy from Fagan's, and if you're looking for anything like we just say you sell down there, it's like a non-stop shop.
Well, we sell office supplies and toys and printing. That's what we're at for the last 45 years.
And go on a bomb still. So thank you very much, Patsy. And
Thanks,
folks,
Dave.
if you have a story that you want to share with us, send us a message and we'll bring you on the bus and have the crack. Once again, from myself and Patsy, thanks for looking in.
Thank you.
Bye.